So I've been pretty obsessed with Night Rain since the game came out. I might as well become a Dark Souls channel at this point. Jokes aside, today I'm going to be ranking Night Rain bosses from easiest to hardest to beat with randoms based on my experience. Not only based around how generally hard the fight is, but how hard it is for randoms, because regardless of how prepared you are for the fight, you never know with your teammates.
This guy stinks!
So the easiest boss by far in my opinion is the first NightLord, the Gladius, the three-headed dog thing. There's one other fight that I think might come close to this, but this guy by far gotta be the easiest boss by a long shot. Like, the other are in a different league compared to this guy, except maybe one. Thing is, he has crazy range and he does a lot of damage, but his attacks are hella choreographed, and he doesn't have too much surprises, like maybe one or two or three things that he can do. But everything he does is more about the spectacle than him actually being that hard once you figure out his moveset. And yeah, he's still one of my favorite bosses. Just a cool fight, and I think he's the coolest looking out of them. Pretty much just have to bob and weave his attacks, and when he splits up, run for your life, and you pretty much got him. Plus he's weak to faith, and he gets a hella debuff from getting whacked around with too many faith weapons. Just a cool fight for me personally. I don't find him that tough at all. It did take a while to beat him with randoms, but yeah, he's just not that hard. He's just really cool looking. That being said, he's still like probably one of my top 3 favorites. I just think his design is cool as hell. Just the whole concept of him swinging this crazy ass sword around, sick. He's like the final form of Sif from Dark Souls 1. You know what, now I think about it, they need to put Sif in this game. That'd be crazy. Sif for DLC, put it in the comments. Number 2, it's gotta be the Gaping Jaw. Gotta love the way FromSoft names their characters. Like, Gaping Jaw looks really scary, looks real weird, but as long as you're not intimidated by the boss, you just have to dodge for your life, and you'll be straight. I know that may sound crazy to some people. I've seen a lot of randoms that just cannot dodge this thing. I don't even think he does that much damage. Like, he's just a scary looking boss. That's pretty much about it. He can be a bit overwhelming because it just feels like this thing doesn't run out of stamina, but all you really need is poison, and being able to stagger this thing's really good too. And yeah, he's just not that big of a deal, especially compared to the other bosses. The third boss, for me personally, I would put Argur, if I'm saying it right. You know, the giant cloud jellyfish thing. Now, I was ready to put this in the first as the easiest boss. If you're gonna struggle or not depends on how much range and electricity you have, and that's pretty much it. All of his attacks don't really do much. He sends a bunch of mime things, finger looking things, to blow up. He will splash water around, but it wasn't until like a second time I fought that I learned that he can actually murder you in your sleep. And he has a lot of surprise attacks towards the end of his fight, so if you don't kill him quickly and fast, the fight can turn from like a snooze fest to like dying in your sleep. So yeah, just don't underestimate this guy. I actually don't even know how to deal with his like sleep debuffs, except like coming into the fight with sleep resistance, or you know, alting in the middle of his like sleep attacks. But yeah, he can catch you off guard if you're not paying attention. So yeah, here's where it gets a little harder. I feel like it all depends on the player, people you're playing with, but I'd have to put Libra here. Libra is this goat-like, demonic-looking, Babylonian-looking thing, man. He's scary as hell. The music is trippy, and honestly, this gotta be my favorite fight in the whole game. For me, this fight makes me feel like Team 7 from Naruto going up against like a boss villain in Berserk. The thing about this fight is everybody has to be on their P's and Q's. Nobody can screw up or the whole thing cooks, but if everything's falling into place, if you got the right weapons, the right levels, and everybody is playing well, you just feel this seamless synergy. I feel like it's the best work they've done in this fight in terms of synergy when it comes to a boss fight, and yeah, it's just an epic set piece, but it's also challenging. Never stay still for too long. That's like the #1 tip I could give you fighting this guy. And when he goes into his Babylonian stance, you gotta break the barrier with some heavy hitting damage, and you got to pick up the little orbs on the ground so you don't go insane. And that's pretty much all the tips I can have for him. If you're under leveled though, this fight is pure insanity, no pun intended. The fifth fight here, I gotta put the Ice Dragon. Now this guy, the music mixed with the boss fight, this gotta be one of the most climactic boss fights they've ever done. And you just feel epic, like you're playing through a movie when you're fighting him. Regardless of if you're having a hard or an easy time fighting him, it just feels grandiose. Some tips I could give for this guy is lots of frost resistance and lots of fire damage. You can stagger this guy with enough fire damage and get your levels up, you know, or you're in for a rough ride. Also, if you can learn how to dodge the mist, that's really helpful. Like, you can iframe a lot of his cold mist, especially with somebody like Duchess. But yeah, also positioning, and that's all I really say about this guy. It's more really something you just gotta experience for yourself, to be honest. If you're on the fence about this game, or you're curious about this game, or you're doubtful about this game, this boss alone is worth the price of $40. Next, here I gotta put Dark Drift Moon Knight. Even if you get good at fighting this guy, it's your teammates you gotta worry about. I mean, there's a workaround. For me personally, I found just picking Raider is like the kryptonite to this guy. Just absolutely bullying him and countering everything he does. But if I don't pick him, I usually struggle with this boss fight, just because he does so much damage to every other character, I feel like. Well, I usually pick squishy characters, so maybe that's my problem. Yeah, you need a lot of physical damage resistance and stagger damage with this guy, and being able to tank a lot of hits, because I don't know how people for the life of me dodge all the crazy stuff this guy does, but eventually I feel like you're gonna get hit. So any type of damage resistance, damage negation, blocking, resistances, you know, and just stagger, because you really gotta knock him out of a lot of attacks he does and stop him from moving. Getting critical hits on this guy is everything. So that's my advice for this guy. Also, I'm pretty sure he's weak to lightning damage. I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. It's either lightning or holy, but yeah. And for second hardest boss, I'll put, okay, when I tried to beat the game for a second time, it took me a while to beat this guy with randoms, I'm not gonna lie to you. And I can't even hate this boss because he has some of the coolest looking attacks in the game. Like I said, he just R farms the whole fight more than anything. And if everybody knows what they're doing or has good skill, this fight can feel like a walk in the park, and it can just feel more cinematic than anything. But when you're not leveled up, he does a lot of damage in his second form. But when it comes down to it, it's all about good old-fashioned dodge roll combat. Like, when it comes down to fighting this guy, you just gotta get good at rolling and dodging, I feel like. I don't know how a Guardian fights this guy, I really don't. But yeah, it really comes down to being able to dodge a lot of his attacks, I feel like, at the end of the day. Which is what Souls combat really is, at its bread and butter, so it kind of fits that the final boss plays like that. Yeah, you know I was gonna put him here. Everybody knows it. It's the pest. This insect butterfly thing. Oh my goodness. I don't feel like this guy's that hard now that I know how to fight him, but when you first fight this guy, it's like a wall. It's like a massive skill check, bro. It's like devious. It's like they put this guy here like, oh, you thought the third boss would be only a little harder than the first boss. Have fun. He just has such a huge health pool, and his attacks are ridiculous. Just spams magic in his second form. He does a lot of damage. Like, I usually just hop a lot of his attacks, which I don't see a lot of people doing. Like, if he's about to stomp the ground and push spikes coming out of the ground, I usually just hop over it. Yeah, that second phase is not something to be messed around with. He has this attack where he stomps around and shoots magic at like one person at a time, and I find it pretty easy to dodge for the most part. There's like a final stomp on the ground, just put spikes on the ground, which I usually get hit with, but I can dodge the magic. But it's my teammates I'm worried about, bro. Your randoms will not last 2 seconds in his second form. And honestly, I don't blame him. It's a pretty chaotic fight. And for that reason, he's the hardest by far to fight with randoms. I would say pick Recluse and just cheese it. I don't know what to tell you. Well, actually, I do know what to tell you. If you're fighting the butterfly, it really shouldn't be too hard to dodge the magic attacks. And he's very weak to fire. It does a lot of damage over time. So any type of fire will just murk the butterfly. Watch out for its grab. It flies from like right to left and tries to swoop in and grab you. You can counterattack there, and yeah, just dodge the magic. And for this insect, if you're a guardian, you can literally straight up just block a lot of its attacks. Just make sure you have stamina. And if you're anybody else, you can dodge into him a lot. Like I usually go around the insect when it's trying to stomp me. I usually roll into it or go around it. And if he's doing a stomp, which you know he has spikes coming out of the ground, I usually just jump over the spikes. And it's pretty weak to actually frost, ironically. But when they merge, that's when all chaos goes loose. Hold on for dear life in second phase and try to hit him with a lot of damage at once. It's hard to coordinate with randoms, but you gotta be really quick, because the longer the fight drags on, the longer people are more likely just gonna die. That's pretty much all I gotta say. Wow, this was way too long. I have to trim this. Anyway, that's my opinion on the NightLords. Did I get it right in the tier list? I know a lot of people do. This is just me off intuition. So what do you guys feel? Am I right? What are the hardest bosses for you personally? Well, that's all I gotta say. Peace.